Hey, Survivor. Welcome to episode 111 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. In this episode, we'll talk about how to identify a narcissist and stop narcissistic abuse before it ruins your life. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-for-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. And I invite you to press your feet on the floor, if you'd like. Maybe shift a little bit in your chair. Turn your palms up in your lap. And we'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What happens when you extend your exhale? It helps me to calm my brain and body. And sometimes, when I'm feeling a lot, but I can't access it, the emotions that I've tried to stuff come up. Notice without judging it. Practice feeling what you feel and let it flow. Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. The fear is real when it comes to processing your experience. I know you feel stressed and exhausted with a pit in your stomach at the thought of being sucked back in and lied to again. You feel like a horrible person for going no or low contact, like maybe I'm the narcissist. The fear, self-blaming, and shaming is something we all go through as survivors. I want you to understand that you're not alone and you're not crazy. Every person who's ever been in a narcissistic relationship has felt what you're feeling right now. If this resonates with you and you're like, I'm done with fear, I'm done playing small, I know who I am, and I am not the narcissist, I want you to say yes. Today's the day. I want you to go right now to closeyourcoachingsession.com and I want you to book your call because we're going to do this together. I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to overcome this fear so that you can begin a long-lasting journey of healing. Let's do this. Have you ever felt like something was off with someone, but you couldn't put your finger on it? I have. And I hope this episode gives you some clarity about who and what you're dealing with. So how do you identify a narcissist? Well, according to the DSM-5, when we're talking about narcissistic personality disorder, which the DSM-5 is a diagnostic manual, and it's got criteria for a plethora of mental disorders. Under narcissistic personality disorder, these traits include grandiosity, preoccupation with unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love, and a belief that someone is special or unique and can only be understood by or associate with other special people or high status people or entities. Somebody who requires a lot of admiration, has a strong sense of entitlement, and exploits other people, and is lacking in empathy. That's a huge one. and is envious of others or believes that others are envious of them, and is generally arrogant, haughty in their behavior or attitude. Now, those are 9 traits, 5 of which are required to diagnose someone with narcissistic personality disorder. So this basically gives psychologists and psychiatrists the ability to say, if it's a psychiatrist, prescribe medication, actually make a diagnosis. We're not diagnosing here. However, we are taking that information and that language, and we're using it to help identify patterns of behavior over time in relationships that don't change, so that we can better understand who and what we're dealing with. And the truth of the matter is that narcissism is a spectrum, and we're all on the spectrum, from extreme selfishness to extreme selflessness, and ideally we want to be somewhere in the middle. However, there are some who are so far to the extreme of selfishness and lacking in regard for others that it can become an impediment to other people's abilities to live positive, productive, or prosperous lives. So that's where it becomes a problem. So those are some traits to consider when you are trying to identify who and what you're dealing with. Another thing to consider are subtle or insidious behaviors like projection. Things that they're doing, things that pertain to their character, they're putting that off onto you and claiming it as yours. So that's something that you'll want to look out for. Triangulation, pitting people against each other, pulling another person in to a relationship or situation to try to manipulate everyone or manipulate the outcome. Smear campaigns, throwing dirt on your name, gaslighting, denying that you know what you know, and trying to lead you to believe that what you're seeing and what they're doing is not really happening. Something wasn't what you thought it was something else. Lying, and oftentimes lying is mixed with bits of truth that's just enough to make it somewhat believable and to maybe even throw you off a little bit. And then future faking, dangling carrots in front of your face, opportunities, material things, dreams, goals, and then getting you to meet their needs in the interim while you're waiting and holding out for and looking forward to something in the distance. Because after all, narcissism is all about getting needs met outside of oneself. Another thing is relational red flags, where it feels like too much too soon. There might be a lot of pressure involved to make decisions quickly, not really think about it too much, but to act now, act fast. It could be a business venture or opportunity. Past relationship failures are always the other person's fault. The blame shifting and not taking responsibility for their part. Withholding. It could be withholding affection, withholding information about themselves that maybe would cause you to not associate with them or go into business with them or work with them or whatever the case is, if you had known who and what you were dealing with. Controlling behavior. Narcissistic individuals like to be in control. They like to be the line leader, like to be at the center, the nucleus of, say, a friend group, want to know everybody's information, have all the gossip about everybody. And there's a sense of power that is associated with that. Emotional immaturity, the inability to handle even the simplest of things, or to regulate, or be self-aware, or reacting to something like being told no. That can be a tell. So why is narcissistic behavior so dangerous or such a big deal? Well, a couple things here. The emotional toll that it takes on you, the anxiety that it causes: depression, fear, confusion, low self-esteem, loneliness, trust issues, hypervigilance, CPTSD. I've experienced all of the above. And I know one of the worst things for me was when it was bad enough, the aftermath of the murders, but then having another narcissistic individual come behind that, knowing that that had happened to me and that I had been in close proximity to that situation, and then using that situation to manipulate me even more to meet their needs, knowing that it was a big trigger for me. Or even the discouragement or depression from finding out that everything was all a lie. Ugh, I mean, when you really stop and think about it, oh my gosh, like it was a lie from the word go. That can produce things like the depression, discouragement, and it can be very isolating. Like, okay, like I don't even want to be around people. I don't trust anybody, or I don't want anybody to see me because I'm really dysregulated right now. Like I can't get out of bed, or I'm really hurting right now. Another thing is just the long-term impact, where maybe you've been dealing with someone for a long period of time to where you've lost your sense of self. You've become really hypervigilant. You are isolating yourself. You're self-blaming and shaming. I'm smart. I know better. I should know better. How did I let these people in my life unchecked? And just the downward spiral that can occur with that. And trauma bonds are so hard to break when you've gotten sucked into this abuse cycle with the love bombing, devaluation, discarding, hoovering, the nice nasty, the push-pull. You're just waiting for things to calm down, stabilize, where the relationship can just be, everything can just be normal and be okay, and you can carry on and just have like a nice normal relationship, or go on with having fun or traveling or whatever it is. It's not happening, or it's coming in waves with these toxic moments in between, and that can be hard to kind of get off of that merry-go-round. The insecurity. Is it me? What did I do? Did I do something? What happened? Where did I go wrong? Poor relationship choices down the line. Maybe you were brought up with a narcissistic parent or in a narcissistic family, and you weren't taught healthy boundaries or how to pick a friend, or codependency was modeled for you. And so your relationship choices later on as an adult are poor, where you're choosing relationships that are narcissistic or environments that are toxic. The cycle just continues until you realize who and what you're dealing with and take steps to disconnect from that dysfunction and do things differently. Generational trauma, finding out or realizing that the narcissistic parent or your narcissistic parent had a narcissistic parent, and they had a narcissistic parent, and that the patterns of toxic behavior have just continued on down the line through generations, until you, survivor, put your foot down and say, you know what, no more. This stops here. And you shake up the family tree, you stop the cycle and do things differently with your family. That can be a powerful thing. Know that toxic stress over a long period of time puts you at risk for chronic illnesses and disease. We're talking heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke, hypertension. Exposure to narcissistic behavior over a long term can cost you your life, literally. That being said, here are 5 steps to stop narcissistic abuse before it ruins your life. Number 1, trust your gut. Find one way that you can practice trusting your intuition. Oftentimes there's a moment where we get a gnawing feeling that something's not right. I got it. I can pinpoint a time when I was first contacted or approached by narcissistic or toxic individuals in my life, where things ended very badly, but where there was a point where I had a feeling in my gut that, okay, that's kind of weird, or something seems off, or this seems like too much. And I ignored it, either because there was an opportunity that was being sold and pushed, and just I got caught up in the excitement of the situation or circumstances, and I went with it. It turns out that I should have just walked away or run, in some cases, from the get-go. What does that look like for you? And what's one way that you can practice trusting your intuition? The next time that feeling comes up, that may be associated with something that's happened to you in the past, but it's like, oh, you know what? I've been here before. I've felt this before. And you make a decision to cut bait, go in a different direction. Number 2, set and enforce boundaries. What is one boundary that you can set in your relationships? Think about it. What does that look like for you? And it doesn't have to be this hard line, grand thing. It could be something small, very simple. Is it drawing the line when something is said to you in the workplace, or a family member says something to you or brings something up that they know is a topic that you do not want to discuss, or something that bothers you, and maybe setting some parameters around how long or to what extent you are going to engage with this person or in this environment or these individuals before you say, you know what, I'm out. And you don't even have to be mean about it. You know what, this isn't something I want to discuss, or you know what, I've got to go. What does that look like for you? I know that when I set a boundary in, say, for example, not supporting the endeavors of the alleged murderer, he discarded me because I was no longer playing along in his game. And he didn't like that. So he cut me off, quit talking to me, ignored me, even across a dinner table with a bunch of people. Super immature. And it was because I put my foot down. He didn't like that. But you know what? It probably saved my life. Number 3, go no or low contact. What is one way that you can identify that you can distance yourself from dysfunction? Is it changing your phone number? Is it reducing the conversation in a nasty custody case to an app where what's being said back and forth is documented and maybe can be used in court during a hearing? What does that look like for you? I get it. So there's some circumstances like family members, family gatherings, traditions, cultural elements that can't be avoided, or they could be avoided, but it's going to come at a cost that maybe you're not really comfortable with, or a workplace situation that you can't really get away from. Hey, gotta go to work. I gotta do my job. This is what I have right now. I gotta work with what I've got. I get that. What does low contact look for you? Is it distancing yourself from unproductive, unhealthy conversations or environments, water cooler gossip, or toxic coworker? Really focusing on the bottom line and the business at hand versus engaging or indulging in, silly or petty or toxic behavior amongst colleagues. Identify what that is for you. Number 4, build your support system. Name one person or place that you can turn to for support. This is so important because there is healing power in community. I've said that before, and I have found that to be true even in my own healing journey. Is it a trusted professional like a therapist, a counselor? Is it an attorney who's helping you to walk out a nasty divorce or a child custody battle? Is it a church? Is it a recovery group, whether it's abuse recovery? It could be substance. It could be a 12-step program. What does that look like for you? It could be a financial program to help you to get your budget on point and get your life back in order after a nasty divorce or a breakup. Trusted friends or family members that can just listen, be a sounding board, keep you company, take you out to do something fun, or just sit with you in silence. I found and met so many amazing people along the way going to small groups in church or an abuse recovery group volunteering with ladies that I met during those dark times when I was really starting my healing journey, going and serving in the community, and being able to really do something for others, even as we were all walking out our own struggles in our lives at that time. Being able to have friends that I could call when I was at my worst, freshly disconnected from a toxic situation, who got it because they had been through that too. And just even learning and getting language even from them about who and what I was dealing with. Very powerful. Who are those people? What's that place? What's that safe space for you? Number 5, focus on self-care. I ask clients this all the time. What is one thing that you can do to take care of yourself today? It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just one thing. It could be very simple. It could be inexpensive, easily accessible. It could be something as simple as putting classical music on in the car as you're driving from one appointment to the next on your way to therapy. Or it could be simple as taking the dog out for a walk at sunset and just coming down from whatever the day brought for you. It could be certainly pampering yourself or doing a getaway if you'd like, and if that's accessible to you. But the idea is to prioritize your well-being and to just pick one thing that lights you up. I know for me, I love spas. I used to be a massage therapist and I worked at a luxury spa. I love all things spa. I love spaing at home. I love going out in my garden and digging in the dirt and planting my starts each season. Fall, winter's my jam season. And right now the leafy greens are popping and I'm literally getting to eat the fruits of my labor. But the process of just planting, it's like a ritual where like I lay everything out and I've got designs. I usually have a color scheme and a pattern in which I plant everything. And it's a whole situation. I love it, going out and smelling the flowers, picking the herbs, putting together a salad or blending a smoothie, but using things that I grew, making a dish. It's so cool to nurture life and to be able to be in the fresh air, get sunshine, get help even from the family sometimes. The dog's not super helpful, but sometimes he's there too. Or just taking some things to the neighbors and seeing how encouraged they are and being able to nurture those relationships. So many ways you can do that. Curling up with a book and some aromatherapy and just winding down for the night. A plant-based meal where I'm getting antioxidants, whole foods, and nutrients that are going to boost my brain and body so that I can better navigate narcissistic and toxic situations and function at my best. Let's recap 5 steps to stop narcissistic abuse before it ruins your life. Number 1, trust your gut. Number 2, set and enforce boundaries. Number 3, go low or no contact. Number 4, build your support system. And number 5, focus on self-care. Remember, as awareness grows, narcissistic abuse slows. Thanks for tuning in. You're not alone, survivor, and you deserve relationships that uplift and support you. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.